Hello and welcome to episode 161 of the 77 Club. Harry, start with the socials.
The Wall 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram, at 77 Club Podcast on Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Please subscribe and tell a friend.
Dan Bayliss is here.
Hello, Wolves fans.
And Jack Williams.
Hi, everyone.
And we're live on YouTube. And hello if you're listening to the podcast. Sorry I'm a bit late today, gents. Had a rounders tournament at work. And just in case you're wondering, there is the first place. This old thing. Look, if you're going to be in it, you got to win it, haven't you? There's no point being like a Man United fan and calling the Europa League the Emmerdale Cup and then getting knocked out of it. Completely pointless. If you're going to be in a tournament, you got to go and win it. So there you go. Dan's seething. He can't wait to say something about it here. You'd love it, Dan. You get loads of shots and it doesn't go on for 5 days.
I can't say anything. The woke brigade would have me on toast. I'm not saying a thing.
See, I thought when you said you're working late, you actually had some deadline or something serious, but you were just pissing about in the field.
It was very serious. We took it very seriously. Team of leaders. So,
literally walked in the door 20 minutes ago from work, and you've actually been on a jolly all day.
I know, but it's tough work. Anyway, look, let's talk about Manchester United. Harry, it was a Sunday game, but we didn't mind this time around because it was a bank holiday weekend, so the cuffs are off. We'll talk about the train journey on the way back, I'm sure, later. But you managed to stay on for the correct amount of time on the way there, which is always a bonus. Just let's talk about that game to begin with, because I came away from it feeling completely robbed.
Mate, it was literally, apart from the time of the goal scored, it was near enough a carbon copy of Tottenham, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just
again, absolutely battered, especially that first half. My life, absolutely battered them. Just didn't put the ball in the net again. The one that springs out in my mind is that Trincao one when he got cleared off the line. And obviously there's many more. Traore immense again. And we were by far the better team. It's just like Tottenham and it's so frustrating. And you just knew, I think we said at half time when we were speaking, didn't we? You just know what's going to happen here. They're going to get a goal. But I said about the 70th minute at the time. I think it was about the 80th, the actual goal from Greenwood. And they go and win. And you could see it coming. And we didn't deserve it again.
Now, Bayliss, when Nick from the United podcast was on last week, I said that all of our heads dropped when we saw Mike Dean was going to officiate, and it rung true, didn't it? Because it turned into the Mike Dean show for all the wrong reasons.
Well, he's just an arrogant twat, isn't he? How anyone with that level of intelligence... No, Nick was all right. I mean, Mike Dean.
Both Man United fans.
Yeah. It's just arrogant, and people with that level of intelligence and ability, how they're running the best sports league in the world, I have no idea. Like the fact that he's gone, I've seen it. You don't need to tell me to look at the VAR screen. Is just it's moronic. It's the whole point of having VAR. Now, fair enough. If you think it's a foul or not, that's your opinion. I've looked on Twitter, and there are lots of people with all sorts of different flags in their handles that definitely think it wasn't a foul, because that's the Man United fan base. Whereas us that know football probably think it is a foul, and very similar to the one that we put the ball out for that was on Fernandes. So take it either way. That actually wasn't the worst VAR incident of the day.
No, true. The Trincao one, I think.
The Trincao penalty is just ridiculous. How that wasn't picked up. I mean, did the South Bank not go absolutely nuts?
Didn't see it till after. I didn't realise at the time.
Sorry, I know I wasn't there. I was watching it with Seb at a wedding, which really annoyed the groom.
Not as much as his best mate for marrying the love of his life, but there you go. Jack, we're talking about VAR again. We've had a really good Euros, really great officiating during the whole tournament. I think we can all agree on the whole. They've said this time round for this season in the Premier League that you need to let the games flow a little bit more, which is possibly why Mike Dean let it go. But I think we're in a situation where we say that if the Trincao incident happens to Pogba in the box, or it's Neves on Pogba, it's going the other way around Man United's favour, isn't it?
Well, that was exactly going to be my point, really. And that's the thing where it just, with the way that the officials in this country use VAR, I'm just not convinced by its consistency. And you're telling me if that exact same thing had happened and we got on to score in the 81st minute, then Mike Dean wouldn't have checked it. If Paul Pogba was shouting in his face, or whoever was shouting in their face from the Man United team or Man United bench. And that's where I think there's just going to be inconsistency there, because you watched it back and, you know, I I don't think it's particularly malicious. It doesn't mean to hurt Neves, but it's definitely a foul.
It's foul,
You can't watch that back. So what are the VAR people saying in the ear? Are they saying it's a foul? They're saying, oh, we don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Don't worry about it, Mike, if you think you saw it. And that's the thing that's annoying. But the thing you can't really excuse is the fact that we've been the better team in 3 games and we haven't scored. Because we haven't lost all those games because of VAR. We've lost those 3 games because they've scored a goal and we haven't, despite us having numerous chances.
Didn't know you were good at maths, Jackie.
Well, it's true, isn't it? If you don't score, you ain't going to win anything. Just like Sam at Rounders today. Do you have to score?
You've got to be into it, yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit of a painful one. I'll admit I didn't watch the game live either, so it must have been much harder for you guys being in the ground because I was also at a separate wedding to Dan. But I didn't even get the luxury of watching it on my phone. I actually just was refreshing the score every 5 minutes on live score. Got to about 18 minutes. I thought, all right, 0-0, this should be going right here. And then obviously, typically that happened. So yeah, it must have been a frustrating game to watch really for you guys, but you can't excuse the fact that like watching it back, that Sace double chance. That's the one, man.
World class from
how? But how's he not putting that in? Had a second one, definitely. So yeah, just frustrating. It's like the same game 3 weeks in a row, isn't it? It's weird. Same game, same scoreline, and same things that people are saying.
And Harry, how did you feel about the setup? I mean, I don't feel down, even though looking at the table, relegation zone. I know it's only after 3 games, but there's still that psychological thing there. Do you think we could do more?
Yeah, you can do a fucking lot more. Fucking hell.
Well, now I think I still feel like we're going to be we're getting onto the deadline day saga in a bit, but with the way we're playing, if we keep playing like this, we will beat the teams we've got coming up. There's no doubt about it. We've played 3 good teams who you expect are going to be at least top 7, top 8, and we've been the best team in all 3 games, in my opinion. But like Jack said, if you don't score, you're not going to win the games. But I think we'll be all right. There's that one season when we didn't win until the 8th game, was it? When we was in Europe. Yeah. So I know we drew a few in that little run, but we'll be fine. I really think. I just think if Raul gets his confidence up a bit, because he's been a bit quiet, hasn't he? I think we need him to get a goal. And obviously, I thought Traore, the way he was putting the ball on the plate for both of those two throughout the game, he was incredible, Traore. So you can't blame him this time. And yeah, we just need to put the ball in the net. Same old story.
Just even, the way we've played, normally in most seasons, I'd have been losing my shit by now. And,
yeah, you would.
And I think we've been absolutely exceptional. We just haven't found the goal. I think the goal stats, which I know we all think are bollocks, and they are, but out of interest, it was a 0.1 of an integer or 0.1 of an integer that Wolves could have scored 14 goals to the number that they did score in the expected goals, which is just mental. So it's going to happen, isn't it? Like, watch us lose 1-0 to Watford.
No,
listen to this. It sounds like you 3 have never watched Wolves before, because we put in 3 good performances. Yeah, great, but it doesn't mean we're going to turn over Watford and Brentford at all.
No, you're not. Yeah,
it really doesn't. Point. Particularly when everyone's on a downer after the transfer deadline day fiasco.
But you just get the feeling someone's going to cop it against us soon. You just have that feeling. I think it could be Brentford. Brentford are going to come to Molineux and the floodgates are going to open.
How many years have we said that for? Someone's in for a right battering. I don't think. Maybe
I believe it now, though.
Well, Forest got one.
But yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, 11 changes in the cup.
I believe it now. It's going to happen.
Yeah, there's a big difference, though. We've got Bruno's tactics. We've got Nuno's tactics. Nuno's tactics were the reason why we couldn't break teams down, because even when we played the teams lower down at home, we'd still be very
Spurs
cautious.
In the league?
Top in there.
Yes, that's very true. Top, Sam.
Yeah. I know, man. That's the point, isn't it?
That Forest game, though, Sam, it should have been 8-0.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. In terms of the starting 11, Harry, I think we were all happy with it. I mean, we still want to be seeing 4 at the back, and yeah, Bolly was on the bench. He's sort of getting a little bit close to the pitch, because against Tottenham he was sort of in the stands, wasn't he? And now he's edged his way into the dugout. So you never know next time out. International breaks maybe come at a good time in that sense.
Yeah, because I think we need Yerson back too. Well, and it's mad that Sace and Bolly go away in January, don't we? Like, I know Jack said that on WhatsApp last night.
That's such a good point. I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah, so we need
African Cup of Nations, isn't it?
But to be fair, I know Sace has had his shaky moments, but he was all right, wasn't he? I know he's like probably our weakest link at the back. Well, him and Cody, but they've done an okay job in Bolly and Yerson's absence. To be fair to them, So, but I do want Bolly back. He needs to stay fit now for a long duration because he keeps getting knocks, doesn't he? We need him to continuously be fit and get back in.
It's about attitude now, I suppose, isn't it, Jack? And like you say, going into those next run of games that we do have and carrying it on. I mean, we're seeing post-match interviews from Bruno, which are, I could say, exactly the same thing as we did against Tottenham in the Man United presser. But do you think it's going to be difficult to sort of lift players? Because it's a really weird situation, because coming home from the game, we were so frustrated, weren't we, Harry? And I don't know if frustration sets in quicker when you're playing well and you're not scoring, or whether you're losing and not playing well. And I don't know which one comes in sooner, because there was so much frustration, but we played well. But we were almost as angry, if not a little bit more, as when we were down the dumps and not collecting any points, playing badly. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It's just so weird, mate. Like, what do you do? It's hard to be too angry. It is. But it's just more frustrating than anger. I don't know if we're just the unluckiest team in the world of our finishing, because some of the finishes were okay. That Trincao one went past De Gea and it just had Superman on the line ready to clear it. It's just bizarre how it works out. It'll come.
Are we Brighton?
Oh no, you said that, didn't you? Actually,
We're not far off.
I think we are kind of the Wolves that you wished for every game last year, though, Dan, because you kept saying, "I just want them to have a go, be entertaining. If we lose, I don't care."
That's why I'm not. That's why I'm not sat here spitting flames, Jack. I'm reasonably content. It's going to happen eventually. I've still got the belief that it's going to all come round, and we look fantastic. Every game I've watched, we look absolutely fantastic. It's just one, the Dele Alli one, crap penalty, cheers. Same on. And it's just little bits of games that aren't going our way. And your luck doesn't go like that forever. It can't. It just can't.
Harry, when you look at the Manchester United back four, and Wolves, I think, had 6 shots on target, 10 in total. It's a pretty impressive back four, isn't it? I mean, it was Shaw, Maguire, Varane made his debut. You had Wan-Bissaka in there as well. I mean, it's pretty impressive to be getting shots away against that caliber of player.
Yeah, solid back four. I think it was Wan-Bissaka who did that hero clearance. Varane was making his debut. I thought he did okay, but Sace did beat him in the air on that one, the one we mentioned earlier, the double chance. So, yeah, we caused a team that are meant to be title challengers, or at least top 4 challengers, loads of problems. And we were the better team. It's mental. Their midfield was crap. Neves was better than their midfield, in my opinion. Probably why they want to sign Neves, by the way. And but they won at the end of the day, didn't they? It was like they come and got the win. So
I think the elephant in the room is Sarr.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And we've talked about we had this chance, and that was a world class save from De Gea. But Jack, having watched the goal back, he has to do better. Has to do better.
Yeah. That's the first thing when I watched it back. The first thing I said to myself, I was like, yeah, it's a foul, but keeper's got to do better there. And he's got to put it anywhere apart from that. And in the 3 games he's played, I'd say it's been a bit mixed, hasn't it, really, for old Jose Sarr? We've been praising his shot stopping, which obviously he didn't really do that well with on Sunday. But then he did the stupid thing like give the penalty away, which against Spurs. So it's been a bit of a mixed bag, hasn't it, really? But you think it will take him a bit of time to settle. And I think he, in the long run, will win us more points than he loses us. But it's it's been a difficult, sort of mixed few games. But I've got the faith with Sarr, really. I think he can be a very shrewd signing.
It was a stinker. You should save that.
It was.
Good goalkeeper saves that.
He was almost going wide, wasn't it? It probably would have cracked him, but he kind of helped it in, didn't he?
Didn't he?
Yeah. Good finish, but
it's one of those. I mean, I think Greenwood is probably one of the best finishers in the league. Good to see
Pope from a tight ankle. It was a hit and hope.
I think he's a good finisher, though, isn't he? He's a bit like a new age Robbie Fowler, I think.
Good with both
finish
feet.
Finish from anywhere. He's good from 25 yards as he is from 6. I feel
he hits that shot most times, and the keeper just parries it away. And if someone follows up, good goal. But it was bad. It was poor.
Jack, good to see Daniel Podence back in action. He obviously did very well against Forest in the week. In inclusion this time around as a substitution. I love him. I think he's better than Jota, but we'll leave that for now. But good to have an attacking option of his caliber available on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on how good he is when he comes back. I know it seems promising, but I think when he came back towards, the last sort of quarter of last season, he didn't look the same player, did he? Whether they brought him back too quickly, whether he hadn't properly recovered or not, we don't know. But hopefully now, if he's had a full, sort of summer's, well, not rest really, but then just coming back now, it'll be helpful. But time will tell, really, with old Daniel Podence. We will see, because there's definitely a player in there. Everyone knows there's a player in there, but he's had his injury troubles and he's had his bits of inconsistency as well. But definitely a good option to have coming off the bench.
Harry, is Trincowden enough to keep his place, do you reckon?
I think so. He took his goal well at Forest. He should have scored against United. Played well at Leicester as well. I think he looks good. I think he deserves to keep his place, unless Podence comes on and does something crazy, or the new lad Hwang, who we'll talk about in a bit. Yeah, I like the look of Trincao. I think he's probably been our best signing of the window.
Man of the match, Bayliss.
Traore.
Jack.
Yeah. It's hard to say. We haven't watched the full 90 minutes really, so I'll have to go with the consensus and say
go with the room.
Too.
I think we have 4 Traores there. Let's talk transfers. And while 24 hours is a very long time in football, obviously on I can't even think, all the days mash into one now. Was it Monday evening, I think, that the Renato Sanchez rumours started, and Liverpool fans were hating it. Wolves fans were loving the beef they were getting. It was brilliant. And then, Harry, it turned into 24 hours where no players were signed. It was like Wolves were staggering around a club at 2 a.m. trying to find that bird that they fobbed off at midnight and going home with themselves.
Sounds like it's from the heart, that one.
Yeah, rolled off the tongue, that one. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, before that Sanchez news broke, it was Monday night, wasn't it? I thought to myself, right, we got that Hwang lad in, who we'll talk about in a bit. And I thought we need a centre midfielder, a centre back, and maybe another striker, but I wouldn't mind too much if there was another striker. So we get linked with Renato Sanchez. I'm buzzing. I'm like, we're going to get him and one more. And then obviously he gets to Tuesday afternoon. That falls through. Then we're linked with that Zamara fella. Then we're linked with Kiefer Moore. And you just knew.
That's the 2 a.m. girl.
Yeah. And you just knew as the time
100%.
went on, it was going to
Where's
fail.
Kiefer Moore?
And it's going to... At the end of the day, it's a disaster. It's a big failure from Jeff and co. And they've let us down big time, because Bruno Lage and Dendoncker came out a week or so ago, or a few weeks ago, saying we need 3 or 4 players. We haven't got that. If we get an injury in midfield, we're doomed, literally, especially if we've got Matinho in the 3 midfielders we've got available too. And we mentioned in January, 2 of our key defenders, arguably Sace and Bolly, are going. If we get any types of injuries before January, or even in January, we are screwed. And I can't believe it's happened.
The interesting thing is that Fosun is supposed to be this super conglomerate company that are doing fantastic deals all over the world worth billions. And they can't manipulate moving one man from a football club to another that hundreds of other teams and, Burnley managed to do it with their, the peanuts they scrape together, but Wolves can't. And it's an utter shambles by whoever is running that behind the scenes, whether it's she himself or any of the real fat chap that sits there and does the videos. I don't know what his name is, but
he don't deal with that, no.
I don't know what any of them do, to be perfectly honest. They sit there and probably take
a
decent wage.
We look at the Graham Hughes and go, is that falling down?
We need Laurie Dalrymple and we need Farewell back, don't we? That's what we need. Because ever since they've gone, it's all gone to shit.
The thing I don't get is, like, if you're trying to negotiate a deal, why would you wait until the last second to do it when they've got your trousers down and you've got to go? If you want to be tight and you want to be shrewd and you want to get something done, go and do it early and then try and negotiate it. Not wait until the last second when you're the person in the
I think
what
they were trying to do, though, is they were banking on the fact that Lille needed money, didn't they? So they were hoping that, I think, they'd come back with their tail between their legs and say, and it's kind of massively backfired. I think it's bordering on sheer incompetence, really.
That Kamara, like, it felt like I don't know if we were going to go in for him anyway, if we'd got that Sanchez, but it didn't feel like we would. He's like, what was he, like 21? He's a massive Marseille fan. So he turned down us and Newcastle just straight away, basically, didn't he? He was like, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
So like that was like desperation at that point, wasn't it? And we didn't want to pay the money. Was it 12 million? I think Cardiff wanted for more, and we just won't pay it, even though we paid 35 million for Fabio Silva last year.
But I think something has also happened that we don't know about. They wouldn't have let Gibbs White go out on loan without having at least something lined up.
The Gibbs White thing is just ridiculous. I'd actually been prepared to forgive them about the defense, because the defense hasn't really been the problem so far this season. But I think leaving us with the new style of football we're playing, you need legs. And leaving us with 3 centre midfielders, first team centre midfielders, to last until January, one of which is 35 next week. That is
happy birthday for next week, Martino.
That's where I'm going. That's like borderline incompetence. Why are you letting Gibbs White go? He's featured. He's come on. He's done well the whole season.
I was going to say, he's had minutes.
A good pre-season. So what's gone wrong here? Something they must have been certain of getting somebody in, and it's just fallen through. Or even then, just rip up the bloody Sheffield United loan agreement and say, sorry, it's fallen through, so Gibbs White can't go now.
Only Wolves could be a team where the manager goes, I can't deal with a squad of 19. It's just doesn't work.
Here's 18.
Here's 18. 2 are off in January. So that's 16. That'll do, right? It's bizarre. But honestly, I was absolutely buzzing when the Sanchez, like every Wolves fan, we thought, hang on, at the last minute, they've pulled it out of the bag here. We were starting to doubt on some bits. And here's another marquee signing, like it was when we signed Martino, like it was when we signed Neves. Even though he's going to be out for a month or 6 weeks, everyone was absolutely buzzing about it. And then that dream sort of just died within, honestly, about 12 hours, didn't it?
It changed the narrative of the podcast as well, because I was getting ready thinking the opening question is going to be, you cannot doubt Fosun ever again. And that would have been the question to the group if they'd have signed Sanchez and maybe a centre back. And then you go, well, actually, they have pulled it off. Did they buy themselves a little bit of time in that sense? But an incredible transfer window, and I said it before, that it's just amazing how it all goes to shit when you leave it until the last minute.
We've just got to hope that 2021 doesn't end up being the Chinese year of the fucking knobhead, and that we actually do eventually do something and it comes back and luck comes in our favour. Because currently we are a bag of prawn crackers short of a fucking picnic, aren't we?
True. I mean, it feels more of a main course is missing, or nothing to eat it with.
Yeah, you're completely right. Like, we're there and we've got the duck pancakes look good. You've got a chow mein, but that's it. And
then Kiefer Moore comes in and eats it all.
Yeah.
Just come on.
Our whole transfer window, on the morning, it could have gone either way. It could have ended up being a 10 out of 10 transfer window. If we'd have brought in Botman and we'd have brought in Sanchez, that's a 10 out of 10 window for me. That's next level. Yeah. And if we'd have got nobody and lost a player, that was the 2 out of 10. And we've ended up with the 2 out of 10 after 11 o'clock on the night before, thinking we're going to absolutely clean up here.
And we've made profit.
Jack, as the best penalty taker ever at Molineux once said, shoulda, woulda, coulda are the last words of a fool.
Beverly Knight. Let's have a look at the overall window. You mentioned it there, Jack, because actually overall, I don't think it is as bad as people are saying.
No,
mostly because we've kept hold of star players, which is a huge part of this. Because I don't think, if you'd have said to me, Sanchez is coming in, but Traore's gone, wouldn't like that move. I would rather have Traore over Sanchez because he's out for the next 6 weeks anyway. So you can play straight away anyway. So pissing in the wind in terms of actually getting a squad together in good time. But then if you list it like Aït-Nouri, Sarr, Mosquera, Trincao, Hwang as well, which I think we're going to talk to someone over in Korea about Hwang very soon. He's ready to come in. But Jack, you make this point and then we'll bring in the Korean man. Who is English.
That's what they want you to think, though. That's what they want you to think. They want you to look at it on paper and then think, oh, actually, maybe it's not too bad. Leaving us with only 3 centre midfielders with the new system we play is inexcusable. Not addressing the centre-back situation for 7 consecutive windows is inexcusable. So you can sign as many wingers as you want, just in case Traore leaves, but it doesn't matter if you haven't got a spine in your team. So I'm honestly very, very disappointed.
Excellent. Let's bring in, what's his name, babe? If you did the
Sam Green.
We are bringing in Sam Green live, I believe, from Seoul, South Korea. Not
North Korea. Would be on. Sam, what time in the morning is it in Korea?
Just ticked over to 4:30.
4:30, up nice and early. Going to go for a run after this?
Back to bed, probably.
Back to bed, good call.
That would do the same. So.
Excellent. Tell us about Hwang. I think his nickname is the Bull, but just give us a little bit of background.
Yeah, I mean, you probably read all of the reports about him, the Bull. He's sort of very direct, very positive with his play. He's fast, he's explosive. I think it was Jeff was we're excited by his speed. We think he offers something different. But from what I've seen, I don't think he offers anything groundbreaking. He's not. I mean, if he was a groundbreaking player, he wouldn't be coming to Wolves on loan from.
That's not what we want to hear, Sam. That's
I'm
exactly
sorry,
the opposite of what we want to hear.
I think he's a quality player, a big game player. He's very famous around here. He scored the winning goal in the Asian Cup final against Japan, which is like if, I don't know, Harry Kane scored the winning goal against Germany in the final of the Euros. So he's a big game player. We saw it against Liverpool. If you saw him make a mug of Virgil van Dijk that time. Great goal. He had 16 goals, 22 assists that year. So he's got quality there. He can play across the front three. They say that, but he's not going to lead the line as well as a Jimenez. You've probably seen him lead the line as well as what Fabio Silva does. But he's fast, explosive, not quite the athleticism of Traore, but who is.
Could he be a Son to our Raul's Kane?
I think so. I think he's got the ability. He had a tough year last year. He had COVID, and he said, "I felt like I was dead." So that's what you want to hear from your.
I felt like we were dead after last season.
I'll be honest, Sam.
He's recovered.
Sam Green, not our Sam.
Yep.
I was slightly worried this signing was just like a marketing move because I bet he's mega famous over there, isn't he? We're going to get a lot.
Yeah,
of
he's probably you got that sort of. Son Heung-min is untouchable. He could probably every husband in Korea would go, yeah, you can take my wife, Sonny. Do what you want. Take her out. Do what you want, mate. So he's sort of upper echelon. And then you've got a couple players, sort of Lee Kang-in, Hwang Hee-chan, Kim Min-jae. They're all sort of like the players that we want to see push on and make a good impression in Europe or wherever they go. I think if he wasn't Korean, maybe they wouldn't have had as much interest in him because obviously they want to break that Asian market more. You saw how hard they tried in China, that global Wolves fashion brand that they introduced in China that obviously has taken the world by storm. But I think it will help.
It's all made over there, isn't it?
Since I've seen the news sort of every day on the sort of Korean Google, there's an article about him, mock-ups of him in a shirt, sort of talking about him. So the way they approach football here is that as soon as they have like a talent abroad, they will just latch onto it. If Son Heung-min moved to, I don't know, Bournemouth or something, everybody would throw away their Tottenham shirt and then buy a Bournemouth shirt on the back of it. So if he does well, I think it can be a great thing and we will see some benefits from it and maybe a Korean third kit next year. But yeah, I think he's a good player. I think his ceiling, sort of 15 goals and assists, sort of that kind of player. But it all depends on sort of how much chance we're willing to give him because I don't know if he's a clear improvement over a fit Neto. Podence on his day. But I think he can provide that impetus off the bench in those games where it's 0-0 against Selhurst Park. Zaha's been diving all over the floor. So shithouse games, he can come on, break some teams down. And I'm excited to watch him because there's a reason he's called the Bull. Just gets his head down, runs, pacey, aggressive, presses well.
Can he finish?
Better than Adama, but I think.
Well, that's not really difficult.
Jack's better than Adama. He's the worst player I've ever seen.
He didn't score for his last club, did he?
The best
20, but that's not the full story, is it? I don't think.
Yeah, like I said, he had COVID last year, so you can't understate how much that will impact a professional athlete. He got an assist sort of his last few games, and he was looking a lot better. If I had to compare him to someone we had, I'd probably say he's similar to Neto in terms of finishing ability. So, yeah. Big praise.
Give us a prediction for the season for him then in terms of goals and assists.
Yeah, I said their ceiling would probably be sort of 15 to 20 goals and assists. He got 22 and 16, so he got 38 goal contributions in 40 games for Salzburg. So you wouldn't see that in the Premier League, but he takes it to the big opposition. I'd like to see him get a good run in the team, but I think with the way we're going to play, you're going to sort of see them rotate and then ride the hot hand. So yeah, 15 to 20 would be, unbelievable for a loan signing, and then 12 million to buy. I think that would be a great signing.
Richard's here said he's not another William Jose, is he? But he's a bit of a different player to that, isn't he? So
very different. I think it depends how much Bruno trusts him, how much he's going to play him. But I can see him getting sort of double digits for goals and assists. He's got that quality. When you've got that pace, and he didn't get called the Bull for no reason, so
No one got double figure goals last season, did they?
Not for Wolves, no.
Not for Wolves.
Raul and Neto are linked on 6 as top goal scorer at no 6 or 7.
If you add them all together, we might be somewhere close. Sam, we've obviously spoken about the Manchester United game and the season as a whole. And for somebody, not quite attached to it in the same way and watching from afar, what are your feelings so far, 3 games in?
It's like Dan said, I'm content with it. I have to wake up sometimes at 3 a.m. on a Monday morning, find a legal stream and watch it. I've got the Wolves radio on, Tomo and Mikey Burrows. But at 3 a.m., you don't want to wake up. And imagine waking up at 3 a.m. and watching some of those Nuno performances.
Oh my God.
Like, at least you could go to the pub and then complain about it. But then I just have to turn the laptop off and then stare at the ceiling and go, right, I've got work in 3 hours. So I'm happy that it was exciting. I think we could have done better, obviously. I think that the Tottenham game, especially, there were some games in United as well. So I'm happy. I think the results will come, but I'm prepared if they aren't. I can see us going to Watford in the first half is very similar. And then we're sitting there just going, it's never going to happen. Relegation, it's all over. It's all over. But no, I'm happy with how it's gone. I think we're going to be all right. But the thing I'm worried with, has Bruno sort of been lied to a bit, and will he sort of be a little bit bothered by the fact that he hasn't got the players that he wants? I think if we're fit and healthy, it'll be all right. So yeah, I'm just happy that we're playing some exciting football now. So.
The one, I guess, saying that's been bandied around quite a lot, and if we go around in a circle to sort of answer it, is that, do you think Bruno has been thrown under the bus, Harry?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I think people were trying to say he might walk, and I don't think he'll walk. He's just coming. This is a huge job for him, isn't it, at the end of the day? It's a bigger job than Benfica, in my opinion, and he's not going to walk. But he'll be disappointed, and he's an honest bloke in his interviews, and it'd be interesting to see what he says next interview, because he's been let down. He wanted 3 or 4 players, and they haven't done it. So thrown under the bus, bit harsh, but they haven't done him any favours, have they? Let's be honest.
Bayliss, is the bus wing mirror sort of clipped him on the side of the head? He'll be all right?
I'd like to see one of the board come out and say something, ideally she himself, and just sort of explain what happened and why it didn't go how we were expecting, or if it was just all lies in the media, whatever he want. The Chinese are great at telling truth to the press, so imagine that'll go well.
It's only Jeff Shee in the boardroom, isn't it? He'll just come out with a different hat on and a funny moustache and then some glasses with a big nose on it.
It is disappointing, and the fans have got a right to be pissed off with what happened, because we were expecting it, because he sat down at that fans forum and said it. So
season ticket prices have gone up, and we've had a transfer window where we've not spent more than 10 million pounds
in that Ash series as well. He was banging on about the midfield being too similar, wasn't he? So it's just,
and also the point
makes no sense.
Yes, if they're banging on about financial fair play, well, apparently that ends at the end of this season. So does that mean there's an absolute war chest waiting for us? Great, then.
Nah.
I don't know. I'm annoyed with them. I thought they should have done better, or at least been more prepared to get in players where we needed them, especially centre midfield and centre back. But sometimes it's better the devil you know, and there aren't many multi-billion-pound companies knocking about that fancy buy a football team in the Midlands. So I don't know. I'm annoyed, but I wouldn't be in the Fosun out brigade quite yet, because Crewe and Rotherham away aren't quite as exciting as beating Man City 2-0 away.
Jack, throw on the bus or not?
Yeah, I think so. I think they have a little bit. I think whichever manager came in and had to follow Nuno was going to be a very, very difficult job, and made even more difficult by the first 3 fixtures that Bruno was given. And we're all singing his praises. So you've got to back him. You've got to give him at least what he asked for. He's come out and he hasn't asked for the world. He's asked for 3 more players and addressing problems that everyone can see have been there for seasons long. And one of the guys in the comments there just said we're 1 or 2 injuries away from disaster. And I agree. It went wrong last season. And the whole reason he came in and said, can't do that again. We need a bigger squad. We need this. We need that. You've got to give him what he wants. You've got him in on the cheap. His wages will be a lot cheaper than getting in some of the other managers whose names were thrown about.
And no compensation.
You've got to invest some of that money. And to sell him short and then just go and basically what we were doing on the deadline day night was panic buying. Weren't we? We were trying to panic buy last minute and get the lad from Marseille and get the guy from Cardiff. And even that backfired because we're too tight to actually pay the money.
There is a slight bit of epoxy here, though. We're seeing Final Royal said he's been totally thrown under the bus. The rug's been pulled from under him. I think that'd be totally justified if we got absolutely panned in these first 3 games, and it was clear that the squad wasn't good enough or able to hold themselves together. But we've looked absolutely fine. He's not under the bus with a crap team that can't compete at this level. We're clearly good enough. It's just that he hasn't got what he wanted.
No, but we're not learning the lessons, Dan. The
I
injuries
agree.
killed us last season, and we can't play until January, a Premier League season with 3 fit centre midfielders in the squad.
No, I totally agree, but I don't think he's totally under the bus. He has got a good enough team as it stands.
I'm sure they'll be quick to throw him under the bus if we get 3 injuries and then we don't win a game until Christmas. He'll be long gone, won't he? And I don't think it would be his fault.
I don't think it is either, but I'm still saying we have got a good enough team to compete at this level. Yes, injuries are an issue, but we are not fodder yet. He is not. A manager has not been come in, promised the world and given nothing. He has still got a fucking good team to play with.
It's also just frustrating because I think we've had glimpses now of how good it could be, and we've all looked at that team and gone, "Hang on, we're one or 2 players away here from actually being really, really good again." And
not Sanchez and a centre back would have made this top half.
Mate, I'm in loving life.
A centre midfielder and a centre of quality, one of those 2 would make a massive difference to our team. And what's going to happen now is these Neves and Traore rumours aren't going to go away. They'll be back in January because they ain't going to stay with a team who can't be asked to spend 12 million quid on a defender, even though they're in profit for the window.
Totally. Sorry, maybe I haven't explained it particularly well, but I'm getting
the first time
from the social media that we're fodder, we're because he hasn't been backed, we're in a right mess. I don't think we are. It's just disappointing.
We're not right now, Bayliss, but we could be, couldn't we? We could be. 1 or 2 injuries and we are in crisis mode. Simple as that. Let's
open up the transfer window a little bit more. And who do you think has had the best window? I'll start off with West Ham. I don't know, Sam, I don't want to sort of spring these questions on you that you're not prepared for. But in terms of a transfer window, they've had a very good one. Their net spend is 62 million. They've really gone for it, but they've made some brilliant signings in there. I mean, Kurt Zouma was one of them, but for 134 grand a week, he needs to be good. And there's a chance it upsets the balance of the squad as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're sort of similar to what we were a couple of years ago when we finally made it into Europe. And then we sort of spent some money. Like I said, we got Silva in for that season later. But I think when we got into Europe, did we invest as much as we should have done in the squad? Because obviously we get the money in from Europe. But I think West Ham could maybe even look at what's happened to us. Well, we don't want that to happen to us. So we need to sort of invest some money in some top quality players. Is Zouma a top quality player? I think in the Premier League, he would be a pretty good centre half. But I think they're looking at it and going, we don't want to just be a 1 season wonder in Europe. So they've gone, right, we're going to have a real good go at this. I think they've had a pretty solid window, as some others have as well. I thought Spurs' window ended up being pretty good as well. They got brought in some decent players.
They're minus 32 million, roughly. They're spending the money. It's like financial fair play doesn't really come into it, does it, Harry?
Sam, but it's funny because you're on about who had the best window in that. We saw that list earlier, and I think Everton were the bottom, weren't they, of spend? But they got like Rondon in on a free, something like that. We should look at the free transfer market now. There's a few they're knocking out there. I know you look at the list and they probably want massive wages, so we probably won't because, as we know, we don't like paying massive wages, do we, as a club? We're quite sensible in that regard. So maybe that's what we'll have to do, though. So there's a few players on there that I probably would take, but at the same time, it probably would be a desperation signing, getting a few of those in.
Bayliss, give me what it means to have a saleable asset if you're a football club.
We've got some. We just didn't sell them.
Where are they?
That's one positive.
we keep seeing these youngsters being brought in, and they're going to be the next big thing. Fosner, an investment firm, but aside, realistically, Neves and Traore, nobody else has really been caught.
Neto's been injured. Raul's been injured. We sold Patricio, so there are sellable assets.
But I mean, these younger players.
This is where we've gone wrong now.
Chelsea, for example, £12 million profit and spent £97 million on a striker. Yeah, because there's that churn, isn't it? It takes them off the wage bill, but also the little bits add up almost.
I think you have got to speculate in a way, but if you look at everything we've bought into for the last 12 months, it's been a downgrade. Everything we've sold and replaced has been a downgrade. Patricio to Sarr so far looks a downgrade, and it is on paper.
Still early days, though. Come on.
Is Fabio a downgrade though? Because I don't know who he'd be a downgrade on. Because
he's no different to any of the other strike. I suppose he has scored
Fabio come in for
Jota,
Jota, really. Jota went.
Yeah.
Fabio come in.
They're different. They're different.
Different,
I would say that Podence was more a replacement for Jota. I mean, they played in the same side, but realistically, you would swap them round within a couple of months of each other. But I don't think Fabio was.
We're lucky that Johnny's got injured.
We know this. That's why everyone's getting frustrated, because when they first come in, they couldn't do anything wrong. The last few years, it feels like they can't do anything right at the moment, and it's down to who we've got behind the scenes.
But we've made this point about scoring goals, and that is what football comes down to. And every time we've replaced, it's delivered less goals. So Jota going, whoever the hell comes in, whoever you want to say, less goals. Even to the fewer goals. Even to the point where we bring in Semedo from Barcelona, and he replaces Doherty, and Doherty has battered him for goals. And battered him for creating chances. Yet no one's allowed to say a bad word against him, apparently.
I don't disagree with you there, Dan. To be honest, when you look back at last season, you think, okay, we spent 35 million-ish on Semedo, 35 million-ish on Fabio Silva. And then what have we really spent this season? It's strange, isn't it? And I hope that those transfers aren't the ones that are killing us now. But,
they are.
Well,
they are.
Maybe. Yeah,
we've got a bloke who can't mark, can't tackle, can't create a chance, and can't score any goals.
Don't go on about Semedo again, mate. It's boring.
35 million, mate.
It's boring, though.
I agree. It's, probably overpriced.
He's starting off all right this season.
That's two Sanchez's.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just wondering if the money that we spent on Nori was a good buy or not.
10 million.
9.5 million. He was quoted at 20 million.
Marcel's playing well, and then we've just spent on someone who's barely going to feature, and it's like, could that money that we spent on him be used better elsewhere? I know we're sort of looking to the future, but we needed, if we were sort of get 5-10 million short of what Leo wanted for Botman, we could have.
I suppose that's the difference, isn't it? Spending 10 million and spending 30 million, that's a vast difference, especially in football with the quality of player you get. And I think a 10 million investment on a player that could be superb is a good idea, whereas a 30 million pound investment on someone that then turns up and doesn't give you the expectation you wanted, really different, because the 10 million player you can probably still ship for around 10 million, whereas the 30 million player in the middle of his career, if he has a downer, you're taking a loss.
You're also banking there on Marcel staying fit for the whole season. I mean, he's done well last 3
games.
He's
been great so far. He's been great. Yeah. Harry,
the weather's turning though, Sam.
It's true. It's going to be cold. Those bones are going to shatter in the frost. Harry, in the land of make believe and a fully fit squad, how good is the squad?
Well, it's our starting 11's decent when everyone's fit, but as a squad, it's not very good, is it? Like,
so bring back Johnny, bring back Bolly, bring back Neto.
Yeah, but when are they back? Like, we're looking at
December. It's land of make believe.
Neto, do you know what I mean?
Where's the centre midfielder?
Like, come on.
He's gone to Sheffield United.
Yeah.
I think we're putting a lot of pressure on like people like Mosquera, because the guy's played 20 times in Colombia or wherever, and now people are like thinking he's going to be the next Messiah and sort our defence out, and it could happen if there's an injury in an African Cup of Nations, and
he's going to be like the next Muxcat looking at his stats.
Well, yeah, he'll play one game, be banned for 3, and just repeat.
It's all right. This Hwang's going to score 40 goals for us anyway, so let's go.
Definitely.
Excellent. Okay, well, look, is there anything else that anybody wants to add before we go?
I think Graham Hughes stand is something we should talk about.
Oh my god, yeah,
because that's been pissing everybody off on Twitter today. Probably just because of what happened yesterday, more than anything. But
could have been anything else. It just happened to be. Bailey, talk to us about concrete structures. This is totally your area.
I can tell you the Chinese fund a lot of construction, and our lot couldn't organise a small piece of scaffolding.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
Pretty much sums it up. The ones we've got.
It was funny as well last night. Sorry, just to deviate a bit. Everyone was like looking for signings and that last night, and they dropped like a new range, didn't they, on the store, like a new jumpers and that, and everyone was just like the cheek of it. Like we're literally waiting for signings announcements.
Yeah, there was more cash to buy someone.
I'll tell you what, I gave the away kit a nice bit of a promo this week. I forgot to mention that.
You went absolutely mad on social media because Match of the Day got in touch or something, didn't they? Because you were sort of like Wolves' new away top and West Midlands Railway seats.
Yeah, on the way that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, on the way. Because what did you do on the way back?
Oh, I don't know. We won't talk about that.
But
yeah,
yeah,
I don't know what you did that sounds a lot worse than not getting off where you were supposed to get off. And
that was
blaming me.
Yeah, and then you
What
just abandoned me in Worcester, and then I had to get a taxi.
Oh, you got off in
back
Worcester,
£100.
did you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, yeah. So BBC DM. Why the hell did the BBC want to post that picture? By the way, it was like non.
Well, we're talking about it now. We're talking about it in the group. You're famous, Harry.
Got 2,500 likes on Facebook.
Got a lot of shit as well, but
I think didn't you end up in some Albion forums?
Yeah. So,
It's
all
nobody
fun,
wants
though.
to be in there.
It's all
All fun and games. Wasn't taken seriously. Rate the window out of 10, Bayliss.
Fucking hell.
3.
3, Jack.
Said it earlier, 2.
2, Sam.
Yeah, 3. Week.
Harry.
3.5.
3.5. And I think it has to be a 3, doesn't it? It was shocking. A shocking window. Perfect. Right. Well, I think that's all we've got time for, unless we've got anything that you're dying to say.
Good luck to Cody. That's about it.
Ticket news. Yeah, I suppose the England squad, actually, because we've got all the time in the world.
Lots to say.
Lots of bloody loads. We've got to read out 25-man squad now. He's back in the England side. There were a couple of changes. I mean, one of the people that's not in it is Mason Greenwood. I don't know what he has to do to get into an England squad, but it seems a little bit like a Jack Grealish situation, Harry. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Like, if you do something wrong early in your career, like crash your car and break COVID rules, but even if you're a very, very decent player, you're not going to get in the England squad. What does he have to do?
Well, to be fair, there's a lot of competition in his positions, and so carry on scoring, I guess. He's a Man United player, so he'll be in there sooner rather than later, won't he? The track record of Man United players being in the England squad.
Sam, do you want to talk? Are you all right to talk about England? Does
maybe Greenwood. Maybe Greenwood could dance a bit more like Lingard and then in the team. But no, I think if he carries on playing the way he has been, he'll make it in there eventually. I mean, he's got time. So yeah, I mean, Cody's just sort of there to be sort of cheerleader, isn't he? So
it's just nice to have around, isn't it?
Interest there, yeah. Him and Tyrone Mings just running around having a great time. So
Bailey's first episode back, he said, "Go ask Gareth Southgate if he's going to go to Qatar."
I'm not speaking about those bottle jobs. I'm still angry. I ain't talking about it.
Do you think Jordan Henderson should be in there, Jack?
Sorry, Sam. There is
Trincão's
been called up for Portugal, the first team.
Oh, is he? I'm completely missed that.
And Semedo, actually.
Yeah, someone got injured. I can't remember who now, but yeah, Trincão's been called up for Portugal.
Wasn't it Pedro Goncalves?
That's him. That's our old player.
Our old, the one that
there we go. So that's a bit of good news for him. I think his performances, well, debatably have deserved it. So
it's a bit annoying.
Do you think this is crap? Like, we get into the football season, it's just started to get interesting.
I was just about to say that exactly the same. You're right. Yeah, it's awful because it just kills any momentum. You know, you got a cup game in there, first 3 Premier League games, and then boosh, you're straight back into the international break. But I don't know if is it good? Does it come at a good time, Harry? 3 games in, 3 losses. Just, you know, you want to be playing in the next game, don't you?
I think it's killed our momentum a bit. I know we've lost 3 games, which sounds a bit bizarre to say. But
that is a good momentum to stop, I think.
No, the momentum of the way we've been playing, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
if we'd have kept playing like we have been and gone straight into Watford, we could have spanked them all over the shop. But now, you don't know, do you? With people going away and then coming back.
Imagine if Semedo and Trincão get injured on international duty, imagine.
I don't think Bayliss will be bothered about one of those, really, let's be honest.
No, that's very true. Perfect. Right. Okay. Look, we'll leave it there before we bore ourselves to death. Sam, thank you for getting up so early and talking to us. We really do appreciate your time, and thank you for the insight for it. Obviously, you can catch up on this in the podcast, or also it'll be on our YouTube channel as well. But otherwise, it is a goodbye from Harry.
Goodbye, everyone, and goodbye, South Korea.
But all right, it's not getting nuked. Well, it could be. We don't know. Harry might have some inside information in there. Rocket Man's getting involved. Excellent. It's a goodbye from Bayliss.
Goodbye, everybody.
Head of International Relations, Jack.
Tarabit.
And it's a goodbye from North Korea. Goodbye, Sam. South Korea.
As you can see,
People's Republic.
Yeah, slip of the tongue. Right. Take it easy. Thanks very much.